In part 22 of Emblem Engage, we hop back into the DLC to do the large side story, the Fell Xenologue. So we start by having a weird dream sequence type thing where we talk to ourselves, but ourselves is the other gender, and their hair is pure blue as opposed to our red-blue mix. Then we wake up and appear in front of two people who introduce themselves as Nil and Nell. That's not going to get confusing at all. They were praying for a savior, and we appeared. It is revealed that we're actually in an alternate world where Alir died in her fight against Sombron, and half the emblem rings, or in this case, emblem bracelets, were destroying the fight. Although Sombron is dead, there is still a lot of tension between nations. Suddenly, an assassin shows up, and Nell reveals that she can actually turn into a dragon, and we begin to fight off the assassins. So it's out the map, and we are forced to use the new units. And while in this game, in this side story, deaths are not permanent. If Alir, Nil, or Nell dies, we lose. Also in this map, you can only use 5 units, and 3 of them are mandatory. And if any of the 3 die, it's game over. It's going to be a long 6 chapters. But first, let's talk about the new units. First, we have Nil, they're just bad. Low 15, 6 strength. I mean, he's obviously designed to be more support-oriented, but he only comes with a restore staff and nothing else, and, an axe. So he's just kind of going to sit in the back lines. Now, we eventually do recruit him after the Xenologue, and he is much better, but for the next 6 maps, he just sucks. His best use is probably giving him Emblem Byleth, so you can support the good units with dances and stat buffs. Next, we have Nell, who is at least usable. She has balanced stats, nothing particularly strong, but she can hold her own. So we have 2 mandatory units, with one who's completely useless, and the other one's kind of mid. But at least we can use our good units as a carry, right? No. Every character has set stats and gear. The only thing that carries over from the base game is emblem bond level and skills. So let's get into this. So the map is a fairly open square with a number of those wolf enemies we encountered back in the Crown and Robin paralogue. And then there's an assassin at the bottom who's using Emblem Tiki. The wolves, if you remember, reduce your maximum HP by 5 if they land a hit. And we are set back to level 15 unpromoted. So they're much more effective. So we slowly push through mostly the bottom left, while Alir, with the power of Emblem Veronica, summons an Armor Knight and we're able to hold off the right side. Boucheron with Tiki is able to still handle all the wolves, and we send in Nell, who uses her dragon powers to take out the boss. After the battle, the assassin escaped, but we get Emblem Tiki back. This universe is Emblem Tiki. We summoned her, but apparently she was summoned using Fell Dragon powers and is in constant pain, so we decided to just put her back to rest. As Nil and Nell are actually Fell Dragon descendants who escaped from Sombron before the whole big war, we ask if they have any leads, and while there's hundreds of children of Sombron, most of them die in the battle, and the person who's able to summon this must have immense power, because no people can really summon an emblem in this state. So we decided to just head out and try and gather the rest of the emblem bracelets to hopefully fight up against whoever the big bad actually is. Before we leave, we visit our own grave, or at least the grave of this world's Alir, with Nell kind of confessing that she's very antagonistic towards us because she was really close with Alir, or her version's Alir, and now we're here and it's throwing her all off and she doesn't like it. Finally, we end off with a flashback of young Nil and Nell, which shows Nell gives Nil her Dragonstone and promised that they would stay together and that she would protect him.